Hello, 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 my little maniacs. This is your host, the Maniacs Gaming, coming back at you with another video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers loss to the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football that went to overtime. So the Bucs lost to the Falcons 36-30. Unfortunate, but it happens. I was really upset with the game, but we'll get more into that as we go into it. So Baker Mayfield, 19 for 24, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns, was sacked 1 time for 7 yards. There were plays that Baker could have made towards the end of the game to be able to save it, but a lot of this did come down to the defense. I'm not going to be too mad at Baker. He played a really good game, all things considered. The game plan for him was really good. Rashad, 10 for 72, Bucky, 9 for 44, Baker, 6 for 42, and Godwin, 1 for 2. Which, Rashad White, on paper, he had a good game, but that lawn of 56 is what really carried his stats. So again, while he played his job, his role, he did not have that great of a game. Bucky outperformed him in the run game, in my opinion. Moving on, as you can see here with the receiving stats, it gives a better picture. Godwin, 5 for 64, Mike, 5 for 62, and 2 touchdowns. Kate Allen, 3 for 44. Bucky, 2 for 12. Sterling Shepard, 1 for 4. And then Rashad, 3 for -6. With a lawn of -2. Rashad did not have a great game overall. I don't know what happened with him. He just did not have a really good game at all. On the ground or through the air. Receiving wise, good numbers for Mike, but most of this came in the first half. We did not throw to him a whole lot in the second half, which is very unfortunate. I don't know why we went back. We went from one game targeting him 14 times throughout the game to now targeting him only 7 times throughout the entire game. Make it make sense, Todd. Fumbles. We had 1 from Bucky at the end of the game that resulted in Atlanta being able to get down, have an extra possession when Tampa was trying to ice the game. And then 1 from Godwin that was recovered by Mike, thankfully, so that didn't hurt us. As for defense, Tyke Smith, even though he made a couple boneheaded plays, he had 11 total tackles, 9 solo. 2 sacks for Logan Hall, and 2 TFLs. He's actually been doing really well this season for us so far, so shout out him. And then Vita Vea and Anthony Nelson both with a sack and a TFL. And then Chris Razzle, who's yet to show up for the team. Now this might show you, a lot of sacks. That says really good numbers, right? No, the defense could not get a stop this entire game to save their life. In fact, we actually got really lucky this game even went to overtime, because as we'll get into, Younghoe Koo missed a couple kicks. But this defense could not get a stop. The Falcons were always driving down the field. It never was a stop with them, so it was very frustrating to be able to see this. Interceptions. Levante had an interception for 7 yards. And then kick returns. Sean Tucker had 2 for 86 with a lawn of 53. So the other one, 33. So, again, let's just let him do the kick returns from now on. Then Bucky, 1 for 39. He had a decent day there, too. And then Cody Thompson, 1 for 21. We did not return a punt, which just shows you how much we struggled. Because Atlanta the entire game had 1 punt, where we had 2. And then shout out Chase going 3 for 3 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points, bouncing back. And then Trenton Gill, 2 for 87 punts, lawn of 45. He had a little bit of a better game punting. Still hasn't been the greatest for us. As for the Atlanta stats, so Kirko, 42 for 58, 509 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, was sacked 4 times. And then Darnell Mooney had 1 attempt that he just threw away. Now, the biggest thing here is we let Kirk sit in the pocket and just dice up our defense in the short game, in the long game. Whatever we wanted, Kirk was allowed to have. It was one of those things, it was just so frustrating to watch. We weren't trying to get... We got the pressure, because we obviously had the 4 sacks, but, Kirk looked very comfortable in the pocket, and it was very frustrating to see. Now, rushing-wise, Atlanta, we kept them rather in check. 12 for 61 for Bijan, so can't complain too much there. Aljair, 6 for 12. We kept him really much in check. Bijan's number is a little inflated because of the 28-yard long, but other than that, did a good job. Where we got cooked, though, was Drake London, 12 for 154, 1 touchdown. Mooney, 9 for 105, 2 touchdowns. Pitts, 7 for 88. Hodge, 2 for 67, and the game winner in overtime. And then Ray McLeod, 6 for 66. Bijan, 3 for 16. And Tyler Algier, 3 for 13. Now, here's the thing that receiving receptions, 12. Targets, 13. Drake London was so open that he was able to catch 12 of the 13 passes thrown his way. But then also we got Pitts, 7 for 8. He was able to catch 7 of the 8. Hodge, 2 for 2. Bijan, 3 for 3. Algier, 3 for 3. This is the consistent thing that's been happening is we are letting these receivers get open enough that they can make these catches, because eventually, like, these catches are going to hurt us. And we struggle to tackle, we struggle to stop it, but Todd did not adjust the defense here to be like, whoa, we need to stop that, we need to fix this. And it's just one of the things, like, how are we allowing this to happen? Like, there were no adjustments to try to change the coverage. There was no adjustments to try to fix the tackling issues. We just allowed the Falcons just to drive down the field and just sit in the zone. And we just sat in zones and allowed the Falcons to just get wide open and then have to come try to make a play. Fumbles. Ray McLeod had one that went out of bounds, I believe it was. And then Caden Ellis recovered the Bucky Irvin fumble. Jesse Bates, I believe, was the one who forced the fumble, actually. So, shout out Jesse Bates. He had a really good game with the 8 total tackles. Ellis with the TFL. James Smith-Williams with the TFL. Simmons with the TFL. And David Onyemata with the 1 sack. Falcons, looking here, there are a lot of different players for the Falcons just making tackles and all that fun stuff. But it was just a rough game for Tampa's defense. They did not pick off Baker. They didn't return any kicks. They didn't return any punts. Shout out Younghoe Koo for going 3 for 5, including one that sent it to overtime. But, yeah, this was just a rough game from Tampa. 3 for 3 on extra points. Koo did miss 3 kicks, one of which was called back because of a penalty, so it had to be replayed because it was a Tampa Bay penalty. And punting 1 for 35 for Pinion. But the big thing that tells the story here is Tampa Bay had 24 points in the first half. 24. Then 6 in the second half. Atlanta only had 17 in the first half. And then 3 to get 20. And then they had 19 in the second half. Like, what is this? Plus overtime. Like, this is what really allowed the Falcons to get back into it, was the fact that we allowed them to get into this position where they were able to put up more points than our offense was. But our offense, they had 30 points. I can't be too mad about the offense. The defense allowing 36 is a little bit of an issue. We need to fix this, but also at the same time, yes, the refs did miss a crucial face mask that should have offset a holding penalty, and there were a lot of penalties that were not called on both sides that should have been called, especially for player safety standpoint. I got really pissed about this in the game. I was blaming Todd, but once I cooled down a little bit, I realized, not all of it's on Todd. A lot of this just came down to poor execution from the offense, poor execution from the defense. Overall, it was just not a great game for Tampa in the second half. First half, we did absolutely great. We put up 24 points like we did against the Eagles last week. But unlike last week with the Eagles, we couldn't close the game out and just finish the game. That's what really came back to bite Tampa here. But Tampa has the Saints next week. Hopefully we can get a bounce-back game. But right now the Falcons are first place in the division because they beat us. And then they have the Panthers next week, so they're sitting pretty. Bucs are going to have to take care of business at the Saints. And then hopefully the Falcons can mess up somehow against the Panthers for the Bucs to get back in the first place. But I think a lot of this is going to come down to the Bucs' next game against the Falcons. That's going to be coming up here in a few weeks. Hopefully Tampa can get healthier and get Antoine back and a bunch of those other key pieces so that this can't happen again. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this down below. What do you guys think about the game? Does Todd need to be fired? Let me know. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that noti bell. On the road to 2,000 subscribers, trying to hit that by the end of the year, trying to hit 1,600 by the end of the month. Let's get it, fam, and as always, I will see you guys later. Stay crazy, fam.